And we can move on to item 1.2 of our agenda, which is roll call, and I'll ask our clerk, Jesse Clark, to please call the roll.
Thank you. Mayor Lambshead, are you present?
I am present.
Deputy Mayor Armstrong?
Present.
Councillor Franzen?
Present.
Councillor Cadigan?
Present.
And Councillor Braybrook has sent his regrets. For staff, we have Michelle Wilson, CAO.
Present.
Donna Taggart, Director of Finance Treasurer.
Present.
Steve Brockbank, Director of Emergency Services. Is online, but I can't hear him. Evan Grieger, Director of Public Works.
Present.
Eric Gay, Director of Building and Planning, CBO.
Present.
Adele Arbor, Planner.
Present.
Bianca Dragicevic, Deputy Clerk.
Present.
And Jesse Clark, Director of Corporate Services, Clerk, is present.
Okay, thank you very much. We can now move on to item 1.3 of our agenda, which is land acknowledgement and moment of reflection. We respectfully acknowledge that Trent Lakes and Peterborough County are located on the Treaty 20 Mississauga territory and in the traditional territory of the Mississauga and Chippewa nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaty First Nation, which include Curve Lake, Hiawatha, Alderville, Scugog Island, Rama, Beausoleil, and Georgina Island First Nations. Trent Lakes respectfully acknowledges that the Williams Treaty First Nations are the stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters in perpetuity, and that they continue to maintain this responsibility to ensure their health and integrity for generations to come. We will now take a moment to reflect on these principles and our duties and responsibilities as members of council. Okay, thank you, everyone. We can move on now to item 2 of our agenda, which is the approval of the agenda as circulated. I would entertain a motion for same. Councillor Franzen for a mover, Councillor Cadigan for a seconder. Any conversation about the agenda? I'm seeing none. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. We have approved the agenda. We can move on to item 3 of our agenda, which is disclosure of pecuniary interest. If any member of council has a pecuniary interest on an item on the agenda, please disclose it now or anytime during the meeting prior to discussing anything on the item you have a pecuniary interest in. See no hands. We can move on to item 4 of our agenda, which is adoption of minutes. We have a couple of sets of minutes there. We have our regular council meeting from May the 19th and our statutory public meeting from May the 19th. Would anyone be prepared to make a motion? Deputy Mayor Armstrong, go ahead.
To adopt.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Cadigan for a seconder. Any conversations about the minutes? I'm seeing none. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. We can move on to item 5 of our agenda, which is committees and boards. Item 5.1 is liaison reports for council, boards, and committees. Does anyone have a report? I'm seeing none. We can move on to item 6 of our agenda, which is statutory public meeting pursuant to the Planning Act. We have none, which is startling and surprising and wonderful. We can move on to item 7, which is business arising from that statutory public meeting. We have none. Item 8 is presentations. We have none. Item 9 is delegations. We have none. Item 10 is staff reports. Item 10.1 is public works. We have none. Item 10.2 is recreation of facilities. We have none. Item 10.3 is fire and emergency services. We have none. And item 10.4 is building and planning. And item 10.4.2 is Adele Arbor, our planner. Would you like to please speak to this item?
Thank you. And through you, Mayor Lambshead, this report is to provide council with an update to the comprehensive zoning bylaw project currently underway and to introduce Forbes Simon, Senior Planner with JP2G Consultants Inc., which is a firm that was awarded the contract to undertake this initiative. Forbes is here today to provide council with a project overview, an outline of the communications and engagement plan, and anticipated milestones of the project. So without further ado, Forbes, you wouldn't mind coming up? Thank you.
Welcome once again.
It's just on. Thank you very much, Adele. Thank you. Mayor, Council, it's a pleasure to meet you. And thank you very much for retaining the services of our firm to help you out with your new zoning bylaw. It's an exciting project. It's an important project. It's a project that has the ability for council to put their stamp on how you wish to see development happen within your community. They can be lots of red tape, or they can be a little bit of red tape. There's always going to be red tape whenever you get into planning, but we're working with your municipal team, and we're trying to find ways to streamline approvals and make things easier for people wishing to invest in your community. And so that's going to be a highlight. The next time I'm going to be before you, council, will be a presentation of an issues report, which is essentially a shopping list of the elements of your bylaw that we're looking to rewrite or redo or tweak in some way or fashion. Today is more or less a notice of commencement to the broader public that the project's starting. We're working with your staff to develop a page on your municipal website that's dedicated to the project. That's going to be the primary tool for communication, to allow people to stay up to date, to allow them to submit comments, to allow them to look at drafts of documents that are coming on. And so we're going to be driving most of the public towards the municipal website and the web page set up for the project. And to that effect, the upcoming tax notice that's going out very shortly, we do have a blurb in that tax notice, again, driving the public to the municipal website to keep them informed. As we progress through the project and we've got discussion drafts of a bylaw, we will have open houses. We will have the formal public meetings under the Planning Act. There'll be lots of opportunity for council and staff to engage and provide input and direction. But I wanted to focus on the municipal website as being the primary tool. And it's very, very effective for communities that have large seasonal populations. For people remotely to be able to connect and be connected with what's going on here as well. Following today's meeting of council, we'll be doing an outreach to the First Nation community. We've reviewed a draft letter with the project committee. We'll also be doing a notice of commencement to surrounding municipalities, the county, and prescribed government agencies. And then that combined with the tax notice, we're going to see it just as full steam ahead. We're on the project. So thank you. Wanted you to have a face to the name. I was in the neighborhood already this morning up in neighboring North Kawartha on a file that I was helping them out on. And so Mayor and I thought it would be good if I had a face-to-face with you while I was here. So wanted to take advantage of that.
Thank you very much for introducing yourself and working on our files. So we greatly appreciate that. Does anyone have any comments or questions for Forbes? Councilor Franzen, go ahead, please.
Through you, Mayor, how long do you expect this project to take?
The work plan is fairly prescribed. I would think that it's going to be a little less than a year. I would like to think early in the new year we're going to have a discussion draft. One of the things that we did, Councillor, in our proposal is anticipate that there's going to be a municipal election and that there may be new councillors. So one of the things we've done in our work plan is to basically put the project on pause during the sort of late October, November project timeline, and then come back to the new council in December or early in the new year, introduce the project for the new members, and basically give the new council a chance to say, when we were out campaigning, here's a couple of things we found and they weren't on your list. So we're sensitive to that we're going over a council period, that there's going to be two councils we're dealing with, but that's been built into the equation. And I've been through a couple of municipal elections as a planner and have seen a thing or two change. So we wanted to make sure that you knew that was built into the project.
Any other comments or questions? Deputy Mayor Armstrong, go ahead.
Thank you, Richard. Councillor Franzen preempted my first question, which is around the timeline. Although I would request if there is a work plan and a timeline associated with it, that be shared with council so we can see what the steps
There is,
are
yeah.
and the schedule. For
Our
accomplishing
proposal
that.
had a very detailed Gantt chart that showed deliverables and timelines and phases of the project. And I would see no reason why that shouldn't be public information from my standpoint.
Great, appreciate that. I see Adele nodding. The second thing is we're still in this quandary, unfortunately, where our 2022 official plan has not been fully approved by the province. I know we're not the only ones. I guess the question is, how do you deal with that? And do you simply assume that it will, you have no other choice, obviously, than to assume it will proceed as that was written?
Deputy Mayor, that's a fantastic question, and thank you very much for that. So there looks like there's a game of big boy politics going on with your official plan. I can't quite figure out what's happening. There's no reason that it shouldn't have been approved 3 years ago, in my opinion. But it hasn't. And I'm not going to get into questioning the ways of municipal affairs in 777 Bay Street. What I could say to you is this, that we do have a contingency plan for how to deal with your document getting to a point where it's ready for council approval and still not having the county official plan. We spoke to the committee about some of the options that we see. I think that for the most part, your zoning bylaw that we'll be producing will conform to the current official plan, save and except for some mapping of environmental features that are new in the new official plan. And one of the options we've discussed, Deputy Mayor, is the idea that you consider passing the text and a stripped down version of the maps, and that would conform to the existing official plan. And then when the new official plan comes in, you do a housekeeping amendment to bring in the new schedules that have a lot more of the environmental features in it. That's, I think, the worst case scenario. I'm going to work really hard with your team to construct a document that's going to be approved under both the existing and the new. But I think there might be an issue with the mapping is the only thing. But we're looking at this. We're conscious of it. I've been following the Peterborough County Official Plan project now for 5 years. 2001 or 21, I think I started following them. So, yeah, it's an issue. We have to be aware of it, and we are.
Perfect, appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments or questions? I just want to say thank you very much, Forbes, for all you're helping us with, and Adele and your staff. I think it's fantastic that we're moving ahead so quickly, and I think we're going to capture a good zoning bylaw amendment.
Thank you very much, and it's my pleasure. And you've got a great municipal team. I've really enjoyed working with them, and they've been extremely responsive, and which is a tremendous help.
I really do appreciate the amount of public input you're looking for from every different area, every different way. I think it's important that many of our residents get a chance to have a little bit of say in this. So.
I thank you, Mayor, and I think the more eyes, the more opinions that are shared, the better the document gets at the end of the day. So we're not afraid of comments or opinions.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, we can move on to item 10.4.1, which is 2. Oh, sorry, yes. My apologies. Anyone prepared to make a motion? Yeah.
I would make a motion to receive the presentation.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Councillor Cadigan for a seconder. Any further conversation? I'm seeing none. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Now we can move on to item 10.4.1 or 2, whichever it is, because we got some backwards somehow.
Yeah.
And Adele Arbor, our planner, would you like to speak to this item, please?
Yes, thank you. And through you, Mayor Lambshead, this report is in response to a request by the Lions Club to erect an electronic sign at the southwest corner of County Road 36 and Lakehurst Road, the proposed location at the lights in Buckhorn on top of the granite rock. Staff reviewed the community improvement plan along with the core design guidelines specific to the community improvement project area and the municipality sign bylaw B 2016-69. It was determined that the proposed electronic message display sign is not permitted within the CIP area. For council's information, the existing sign at the Buckhorn Community Center was issued a permit in 2022, and it was identified as a public information sign in accordance with the definition in the sign bylaw promoting community events taking place at the community center. Planning staff undertook further research and reached out to both the County of Peterborough and the Ministry of Transportation to inquire about best practices concerning placements of signs along roadways of their respective jurisdictions, should there be support to amend the community improvement plan and sign bylaw. Based on the best practices of the county and MTO, this would not be a location supported for electronic signage. Therefore, it's being recommended that council receive the report from the planner regarding the Lions Club request for an electronic sign, and further that council deny the request for the electronic sign at the proposed southwest corner of County Road 36 and Lakehurst Road location. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Adele Arbor. Anyone have any comments or questions? Councilor Franz, go ahead, please.
I feel a little bit concerned that the councillor for Harvey Township, the Harvey Ward, is not here today, and I'm sure that he'd like to have some input on the discussion. So I'd appreciate if we could defer this to our next meeting.
Okay. Is that you making that a motion?
I can make that a motion.
Is there anyone willing to second that motion? I'm seeing no hands. That motion has failed. Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to comment on this item? Deputy Mayor Armstrong, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Lambson, and thanks, Adele. I appreciate you reaching out and speaking with others about what are best practices for sign placement. I have had a number of comments about people quite concerned about having an electronic sign that changes its messaging in a very prominent place on a four-way intersection. So they were very concerned about the distractive nature of an electronic sign there. So I haven't spoken with Lions Club members. I understand their desire to have it, and I think it's a great idea, but I would agree that that is not the most, it's not a safe, nor is it a particularly cosmetically attractive place to put an electronic sign. So I would support the recommendation.
Okay. Councilor Cadigan, go ahead.
Through your Mayor Lambshead, I also support the recommendations. I agree that that intersection is busy enough and doesn't need an electronic sign there. I make the motion that council receive the report from the planner and deny the request for the electronic sign at the proposed location.
Okay. Do I have a seconder for that motion?
I would second that, just with a comment that we're not rejecting the sign per se, but rather that particular location.
Okay. Any further conversation? I'm seeing none. I will call for the vote. All in favor? I don't know if that's a tie. Pardon?
That has failed if you
That
don't
is a
vote.
fail. Okay. I did not vote. I just was hoping we could find another option. That
So I'm
was my-
sorry. So could I just ask for, I guess I want a recorded vote on that.
Well, we've already voted and it failed.
I can still request a recorded vote, I
All right.
believe.
Deputy Mayor Armstrong, are you in favor?
Yes.
The recommendation. Okay.
Recommended.
Councillor Cadigan,
Yes.
Councillor Franzen,
No,
Mayor Lambshead.
No.
That has failed.
Okay, so maybe we go back to the other idea that maybe we just wait till we have 5 members of council and then we can have a vote that will pass one way or another. Anybody think that?
that
Councillor
was
Franzen?
my original.
That was
motion.
your original motion?
Yeah.
I was hoping we'd have found a different method.
Yep,
So would you like to try that again?
I'll try that again.
Okay. I will second that motion. Okay, sorry.
Can I just confirm, is it to defer to the next meeting?
Yeah.
To the next meeting.
When we have a full council. Hopefully. Now I will second that motion. Any conversation? This is going to be problematic. I can see it. I'm seeing none. I can call for the vote unless someone wants a recorded vote. I don't see any hand. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has failed. So this is the first time we've been here. Let me see, I have a different motion. Not sure what our procedures are for this because this is seldom happens. That's why we have 5 members on a committee, on a council, right?
Yeah.
So anyone have any other motion that they might want to put out there? I'm seeing none. Well, I guess we just forget about it and move on. I don't know what we do here. Jesse, any ideas? Come up with a
No, the
different,
procedure bylaw doesn't really speak to
failed both ways?
failed both ways.
I was gonna have a comment about what do we have in our zoning, sign bylaw, NCIP about elevated signs, but because that is a very high spot, which is not that visible unless you look up for it. I think that's,
Excuse me.
sorry,
No
I think
commenting
that's,
unless
yeah, I
we
think
have a
that's,
motion on
yeah,
the
I think
floor.
that's
Miriam said.
something else. Yeah, that's something else.
I'm sorry.
Okay, we don't have a motion. We don't have a second motion. Anybody? One more try. Any other ideas on a motion? Deputy Mayor Armstrong, you look like you're thinking.
I'm thinking.
Okay. Michelle?
Through the chair, maybe I could just make a comment. Maybe it's just that you receive it for information. I don't know. I don't know if it just, nothing happens. I think something has to happen. So I
Yeah,
don't
we
know
have
if
to
that
have
would be what
something.
you would do.
Yeah.
That you would just receive it and that's.
Anyone thinking that that might be a motion they can support? Because Councillor Cadigan?
I'll make the motion to receive the report for information.
Okay. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Franzen for a seconder? Any further conversation?
Yes. Is this going to be brought back for council to make a decision in the future?
Not if we
No.
just receive it. I
To
don't think.
receive for
Yeah.
information?
Yeah,
So that means that there's no
sign.
sign.
We're receiving
No
it for
problem.
information. Any further comments? I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Okay, thank you. We will find a way. Now we can move on to item 10.5 of our agenda, which is finance, and 10.5.1 is Donna Taggart, our Director of Finance and Treasurer. Would you like to speak to this item, please?
Thank you, and through you. At the April 7th regular meeting, council authorized the transfer of the Sandy Lake Cemetery Perpetual Care Funds from the Scotia Trust to the RBC Royal Bank after notification from Scotia Trust that they would no longer be acting as trustee for the cemetery funds. While vetting the documents to open the account, the compliance team at RBC flagged the fact that amalgamation documents did not reflect the current name of the municipality. Because of this, RBC have now asked for an additional resolution that reflects the current name of the municipality and provides clarification on the exact duties of signing authorities for withdrawals, transfers, deposits, agreements, and the receipt of statements on the account. So therefore, today, staff are looking for council to approve the report and also to approve the resolution or receive the report and approve the resolution regarding banking services as outlined in the report. It's very lengthy. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you very much, Donna. Does anyone have any comments or questions for Donna? I'm seeing none. Is anyone willing to make a motion? Pretty quiet here today. Deputy Mayor Armstrong. Go.
Yeah, I'll make the motion that we receive the report, that Royal Bank be appointed the banker, that we authorize Donna Taggart, Chastity Robertson to proceed as written in the motion.
Okay, thank you very much. Do I have a seconder? I see Councillor Cadigan for a seconder. Any further conversation? I'm seeing none. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Okay, now we can move on to item 10.6 of our agenda, which is administration. And 10.6.1 is Michelle Wilson, our CAO. Would you like to speak to this item, please?
Sure, thank you, and through you. So back in January of this year, Council approved participation in the development of a new joint community safety and wellbeing plan with the county and the lower tier municipalities. So that work has been complete, and a draft plan was presented to County Council on May 20th, asking for comments. At the same time, all of the lower tiers are now also bringing the draft plan to their respective councils for feedback. The county is asking for your comments if you have any. By June 15th, just send them to staff and we'll forward them to the county. And the county is hoping to have a final draft for approval by the end of June. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Michelle. Does anyone have any comments or questions? I'm seeing none. Does anyone? Deputy Mayor Armstrong, go ahead. No, please do.
Thanks you, and thanks, Michelle. I always find these broad sweeping plans to be kind of motherhood and apple pie. And at the end of the day, when you drill down, we as a municipality don't really have jurisdiction or responsibility for housing and social services and all those other things. So it gets a little tricky to navigate what our commitment is with regard to these plans. So, I mean, I'm fine with it, but at the end of the day, I think we all understand that we don't have any direct impact or ability to impact a number of these things that are county provided services. But obviously we support the goals and we support the objectives. So, you know, I'm okay with it. It's just a comment that it's all really nothing that we directly make decisions on as a council.
Councillor France, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just like to make a comment when, through you, Mayor. When I went through it, it seemed to be, of course, Peterborough centric. And I was wondering what impact any of these here programs would have on most of the residents within our municipality.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think statistically, some of our residents do use some of these programs. I know we've seen them numbers at county a couple times. But it's difficult when we have a lot of skin in the game financially, like to the tune of $19 or $20 million a year, but yet we don't really get to control where any of that goes. And it's just the nature of the beast, right? Councillor
Because
France.
a lot of our residents use services outside of
Absolutely.
the county. I mean, the proximity of our municipality being close to the city of Kawartha Lakes for a good portion of the municipality. A lot of the services that people receive from the city of Kawartha Lakes.
Okay. No. Councillor Cadigan, go ahead.
I'm prepared to make a motion that council receive the report from the CAO
Okay.
and that council endorse the community safety wellbeing plan.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Cadigan. Do we have a seconder for that? Deputy Mayor
Second with a
Armstrong?
comment, I just want to point out that the city of Peterborough is not part of this. This is just the 8
Yeah.
municipalities that are part of the county.
Yeah.
So it's not the city of Peterborough.
Okay. Any other comments? From seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Okay, thank you. We can move on to 10.7 of our agenda, which is corporate services. We have none. Item 11 is notices of motion. Anyone have a notice of motion?
No.
I'm seeing none. We can move on to item 12, which is correspondence for information. Item 12.1 is the Lakers Hall Board. Would anyone like to speak to that item? Is there prepared?
A
Councillor
motion to
Trent.
receive.
Okay, Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Cadigan for a seconder. Any conversation about the hall board minutes? I'm seeing none. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Now we can move on to item 13 of our agenda, which is correspondence for action. Some items there. Anyone would like to speak to any one of those items? Or Councillor Franzen?
I'd like to speak to 13.4.
Okay, go ahead.
I agree with this, with the sustainable funding for the fire services in Ontario. That's part of presentations that we've made to the ministry by several members of council.
Yeah.
So I'd like to support that motion.
Do I have a seconder for that motion? Seeing Councillor Cadigan for a seconder. Any further conversation? Deputy Mayor Armstrong, go ahead.
Yes, if our emergency services chief is on the line, I would very much like to hear what his input on this item is.
Chief Brockbank, are you there? I think we bored him with our non-decision item. But I think this funding is important. It's sustainable funding. I think some of the funding is just, it's a blurb and a blip here and there, and it's not sustainable. Like,
Yeah.
I know it's nice that we get a bit of funding here and there for emergency services items, like to clean bunker gear and things, but it's not sustainable. Like, as we grow, and we are growing, we grew drastically during and after COVID, and we're continuing to grow. We need more funding for our fire service, or alternative things have to happen. Okay, I don't think we have.
I'd like to make a further comment.
Sure.
The province sets how we have to run our fire services and doesn't accept any of the cost over a sustained period. And municipalities, to survive, we need sustainable funding.
That's for sure. Michelle, go ahead.
Thank you.
CEO.
And through you, I did have a chance to speak with the fire chief this morning, and
Okay.
he did plan to be here, so I'm assuming it's an emergency that's taken him away. He was in support of it, is what he had told me. We didn't get to a lot of the details about it, but he did say this morning he was.
Well,
Thank you.
that's good. Thank you very much. Okay, any further comments? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Okay. Anyone like to speak about any of the other? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Armstrong.
Thank you, Bill. I said 13.3, if
Yes.
I may. You and I were both at the county council meeting when this was brought up. And it's an opportunity for Trent Lakes to participate in a tree planting program. There is no cost required of Trent Lakes, but it gives us the opportunity to participate. And as we all know, we've lost trees over the last several years with the derecho that went through and the ice storm that went through and our push to renaturalize shorelines. This fits in, I think, very nicely with some of our priorities. So I'd like to support that, or I'd like to opt in. I don't know quite the right wording, but I'd like to participate.
Just pass that resolution that's on the agenda. That's perfect. I think that's a great idea. I am actually not looking for a seconder. I'll second that myself. I think this is important, as you just said, as we lost a lot of trees for many, many reasons, and a drought was one of them. Like, you drive up County Road 507, there's hundreds and hundreds of trees that have just not rebounded at all. They've died. So I think this is an important thing to support. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Okay, we have two other items. Would anyone like to speak? Go ahead, Councillor Franzen.
Yeah, I'd like to speak on the city of Richmond Hill, the integrated living.
Yep, item 13.2.
That seems to be quite a problem when people have a child that is disabled and wondering what's going to happen when they pass, what kind of life this child is going to have. I've met people that they get torn apart about this issue. It's a very emotional issue for people that have to live through that. So I'd like to support it. I know it doesn't have much impact on our municipality, but I do feel strongly that we should support it.
Okay, thank you for that. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Cadigan for a seconder. Any further conversation? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. So we're back to item 13.1. Would anyone like to speak to that item? Councillor Cadigan, go ahead.
Motion to receive.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Armstrong for a seconder. Any conversation? I'm seeing none. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. I almost called you by your first name, Deputy Mayor Armstrong, and I apologize for that. Okay, we can move on to item 14 of our agenda, which is bylaws. We have none. And item 15 is announcement. Does anyone have an announcement? Summer's here, almost. Okay, we can move on to item 16, which is a closed meeting. We have none. Item 17 is business arising out of our closed meeting that we didn't have. We have none of that. And item 18 is the adoption of the confirming bylaw. Would anyone like to make that motion? Deputy Mayor Armstrong for a mover. Councillor Franzen for a seconder. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. We have adopted our confirming bylaw. And item 19 is adjournment. Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn? See Councillor Cadigan and then Councillor Franzen for a seconder. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, staff. Thank you very much, council. Thank you very much for everyone who's in the gallery, virtually or electric. You're going to cut me off.